Tuesday. That is a hashtag you guys should follow if you are interested in the brand new 43mm Bulova Lunar Pilot. Today I have both versions to show you guys. I have the black dial version and the white and blue with the beautiful sand textured dial. One of the best looking chronographs to come out in a while. Let's flip the camera and take a look at these yet to be released Bulova Lunar Pilots, and of course celebrate hashtag Not So Speedy Tuesday. It was a few months ago when I ran a teaser here on my channel of these two watches. I went to an event where they had prototypes to show us, and I was very excited about it. I featured it here on my channel and of course on my Instagram as well. These are the two watches. This is the 43mm version of the new Bulova Lunar Pilot. This is the blue and white, so this is a blue and white dial, and of course you're getting some special little touches on this watch as well. You have blue pushers, which is really cool, and then this is sort of the standard version, the black dial version, the one that is the closest to the original watch that actually went to the moon. Now this watch is in 43mm. The original watch was in 43mm. That's the reason why they came out with this in this size. A lot of people, when I released that video originally, were like, why didn't they come out with it in 40mm or 41mm or 39mm? The reason why is because they wanted to come out with it in its original size first, and then I guess eventually they may downsize again, but I am not sure. That is yet to be seen. So this watch was made famous by David Scott when he was wearing it during an extra vehicle activity on the moon. His Omega malfunctioned. Some say that the crystal actually popped out under some pressure, and there was a Bulova Lunar Pilot that he brought with him, which was a gift from Bulova, and he decided to use that watch instead. So making history not only for NASA, but also, of course, Bulova. This is the 43mm. I got a lot of questions. We're going to take a look at the black version first. One of the biggest questions that I got about this watch was the lug to lug. A lot of people were wondering what the lug to lug is. I'm going to show you that in just a second. So at the bezel, this is 41mm. At the case, it's 43mm. That's including part of this pusher. So technically it's just under 43mm is what I would say this measures at. The thickness on here is very similar to the current Lunar Pilot at 13.5mm. You still get a giant crown on here at 7.9mm. And then of course, there are female end links on here, so you're getting a pretty true lug to lug of around 50.1mm, just about, depending on if you're measuring it at the bracelet or at the case itself. You still get a very boxed sapphire crystal, so this sapphire crystal is really raised off of the case, as you can see when you turn it on its side. Very vintage looking. You still get these very long polished pushers for the chronograph, which is obviously a design element from that original Bulova Lunar Pilot that went to the moon. The case is essentially all polished. So this does not have brushing, so it's a little bit different from the 45mm. The only elements that are brushed is really the bezel, so the side of the bezel and the top, which is a very small portion. The side of the case is polished, the crown is polished, as you can see, and then even the case back, well, the back of the case is polished, and then of course the case back itself is bead blasted, and then there's a line of polish that goes through that. Very cool history behind this watch, obviously the design and how it actually got used. Pretty interesting. So the bracelet is, I think, pretty standard to the original 45mm as well. Polished middle links, outer links are brushed, and then the sides are polished as a pin and collar system, as far as I remember, and that is really it. So that is the black version. Chronograph is a quartz, of course. I think everybody knows this by now, but it is a high accurate quartz movement. It's operating at 262 kilohertz. So that's why you have that flying second hand right over there. And everything is actually really smooth on the chronograph. Looks a lot more like that original watch, especially now that it's in that 43mm case. I'm going to show it to you on my wrist in just a second, but very quickly before I do, here is the blue and white version. This is gorgeous. Now, obviously, that original watch did not come in this colorway. However, what you're getting with this watch is a textured white dial. I will do close-ups of this dial so you can see what I am talking about. It is gorgeous. The sub-registers are in blue, and then you have a blue chapter ring, which is the tachometer. It's all in a very royal deep blue. It looks gorgeous. And then the pushers are in blue as well. Those long pushers looks really, really good. Very quickly, I'll throw it on my wrist. We'll also talk about price a little bit, but today I have on my Cartier Santos. This is the, I think this is the large or extra large, I don't remember. I think it is the large, I think it's what they call it, a 39 millimeter watch, which wears big, so it does wear bigger than 39 millimeters. And this is the ADLC version with the DLC bezel, which is cool, ADLC bezel. So this is the white version, or white and blue version on my 7.5 inch wrist. You do get applied indices on here, and it just says Bulova right there. And then of course 262 kilohertz right in the bottom of the bottom register. I actually wore this already, and I am smitten with it. This is the original version on my 7.5 inch wrist, unsized for my 7.5 inch wrist, but there you go, you get the idea. It does look smaller than that 45 millimeter version, but it doesn't look incredibly smaller than the 45 millimeter version. But I think they made the right move in coming out with this in the original size, and then maybe eventually coming out with it in a smaller size. The original size is the way to go. This is going to be $1,000. So I think it's going to be actually under $1,000, somewhere around 900 and change. I don't know the exact pricing on this. This comes out on Tuesday, so I think that's February 7th, and that is hashtag Not So Speedy Tuesday is what they are doing. I think that's really funny, and obviously I think this will be a very popular watch. Very quickly, a lume shot, and then we'll wrap up the video. Okay, so you can see that all of the indices are loomed, the hands also loomed, even the second hand, the chronograph second hand. You can see it is loomed, and you can see it's moving in the dark, which is really good. None of the sub-register hands are loomed, so something to keep in mind. Not that you will be using your chronograph in the dark, or maybe you will be, so that would be something that you would need, but these are not loomed. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of these watches? What do you think of the 43 millimeter size versus the 45 millimeter size? I know a lot of people are a little bit disappointed that this isn't smaller. I think that will probably come in the future. Right now, I think they wanted to focus in on making it close to the original watch. I think if you get it on the bracelet, you also get a strap, but I'm not 100% sure of that at that price. But I will find that out, and I will put that comment in the description if that is the case. Anyway, guys, tell me what you think of these watches. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you in the next video.